What is going on? What is going on? It is a lovely night in South Texas. Welcome to another exciting edition of the Let's Chop It Up podcast presented by Ridin High Sports and DJ Lil King. King!
Hey, what's good?
What's good? Who do you have on this couch with us tonight, King?
Let's see if I could get through the intro, man. We gotta first and foremost, my first cousin, you know what I'm saying? Graduate of Flower Bluff High School. He had a college degree. Correct me if I'm wrong. He had a college degree before he even graduated high school. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Man, hold up. Author, activist. Was working, I don't know if he still is, but was just recently working in Washington, D.C. at the White House. Like the White House. Like where Obama was, where Trump and all them at right now, you know what I'm saying? Like, hey, y'all give it up for my kinfolk, Jeremiah Baldwin, man. Hey.
And then before just so y'all know that I got some things I like to read sometimes. But
That's good. That's good.
but we have executive assistant to the chief of staff, State Farm's communication intern, congressional intern, undergraduate intern, University of Texas Austin, teach following, residential hall assistants, campus tour guide, law clinic intern, Amos C. Brown student follow, undergraduate fellow, press intern, University of Texas student government, university-wide representative. Bro, what have you not done? University of Texas.
You said everything.
University of Cape Town, Del Mar College. This man has a emergence leader certification, certificate in LGBTQ plus studies. Bro, I can't even say some of these things. And then, let's see, honors and awards. Bro, the one thing that I did see that I really like, you are in, what fraternity was it?
Phi Beta Sigma fraternity.
How y'all do y'all thing? How y'all do y'all thing?
That's not us. That's not us. No.
How y'all do y'all thing? What y'all do? What y'all be doing?
Blue Five.
Okay. You gotta do it one time.
Blue Five.
That's what I'm talking about.
Already.
And then guys, I'm just meeting this dude and I'm already impressed. And he has his book right here from Something Out of Nothing. You know what I'm saying? A Baldwin Miracle. Y'all go check that out. Is it on Amazon?
Yeah.
It's on Amazon. It's also Barnes & Noble.
Amazon, Barnes & Noble. And then I was just flipping through it. And then I like to read sometimes. And just a little excerpt that I found. And I feel like God put this section of the book in my hand. I just opened it and it just fell to it, right? And I feel that this certain excerpt from this book just pretty much describes your life and journey, right? And it says, I am a black man born to two parents, Donnie and Bridget Baldwin. I have a black older brother, Donnie Ray Baldwin II, and a biracial niece. My blackness was used against me for many years, but turned it out to be my greatest victory in life. Now my dark complexion is covered by the love and powerful light of God. I feel like that pretty much sums up like your journey.
For sure.
But anyway, tell us about it.
Yeah, let's take it back to the beginning. For everybody that don't know, let's start where you originally from. For those, I know your whole story, but for those that don't know and need, like, look at Lamar here, let everybody know where you originally are from.
I'm from here in Corpus Christi, Texas.
Already. What side of town would you say?
Born on the north side of town.
Already.
Right City Hall.
Already.
Center of the city, and you know, it's exposed me to so much, being raised right next to the Buck Days Parade, packing the ice chest, going to the Buck Days Parade, seeing all the bands, the cheerleaders, dance teams perform. I'm shaped by Corpus Christi, you know?
For sure.
And Corpus Christi doesn't always get the best rep, you know, when you go to the place, I'm like, where's that? That's Selena Quintanilla's hometown.
Yeah.
I'm like, yes, but there's more to Corpus Christi,
for sure.
She's so amazing. But yes, born and raised here, Corpus Christi, Texas, and it's the city that shaped me and it's allowed me to do what I've done.
When did your, because I ain't gonna lie, man, you was always smart as hell when we was kids. I'm a little bit older than you, obviously, but whenever you was a kid, you was always super smart. Oh, we probably should have had Aunt Bridget come sit on the couch too. When did you notice, or maybe Aunt Bridget could chime in from the side too, that you were kind of like above average when it came to just smarts? Was that like early, like in pre-K and stuff like that? Like you were more advanced than the other kids and stuff like that? Is that a good question?
It is.
That's a great question. That's the question I would ask.
When did you say that you kind of discovered
like? It would have to be a memory of, I won't say, I don't like to categorize it as I'm the most smart in the room, because I don't think that's the case. I think everyone has skill sets in different areas.
Oh, right? Man, I was just bragging on you. I said, man, my cousin was once upon he was the smartest kid in Corpus at one point in time.
I mean, it's all about resource, everything, but I say that because there was nothing entirely special about me, you know?
Okay.
One thing that I will say to answer your question, I don't know if it entirely answers your question, but I remember one time, the thing I've been being introspective and reflecting on just my early development, but one thing that stuck out to me from my childhood is one time in school, I went to a private school and I always did bad on the spelling test. And
okay.
I would be just shy of getting 100, and I was like, I'm making an A, but my dad wanted me to make 100. So he went up to the school and talked to the teacher and said, why is he making these low grades on the spelling test?
Yeah.
And once he talked with the teacher, found out, it taught me two things. First, that academia is important, but also you must advocate for yourself and not be afraid of going into spaces where you might not
for sure
be represented and advocating on behalf of yourself. And from that moment, my dad would get my spelling words at the beginning of the week, and I would sit and practice with him, and we spelled the words together. And I don't remember what those words were in this moment, but I remember that that's when I learned that academia and intellectualism is important. Yeah. And that's why I've channeled it into all the things that I've done. And I don't think it was one moment. I think it was a series of moments where I learned that this is something that's important. I want to set myself apart in this way. My dad also was very passionate about playing basketball.
Yeah,
to West
for
Oso
sure,
High
for
School,
sure.
West Oso Bears.
For sure.
We always went to the games, but basketball just wasn't for me.
Yeah.
And I don't think I was bad at it. It didn't spark that joy in me.
Already.
But I love watching the games, love watching football. But academia just stuck out to me. I love to read. I love to write. That's my passion.
Do you remember, like what elementary schools did you go to?
Yes, so from 1st through 5th grade, I went to a private school not too far from this podcast location, First Baptist.
Okay, already, yes. For sure.
We had a dress attire. We had a dress attire that we had to wear every day, and it was hard.
Already. So you went there starting at kindergarten?
So before 1st grade, I went to Christ the King.
Okay.
And that was a Catholic school.
Okay.
And I'm not Catholic. My parents sent me to Catholic schools, Baptist schools, non-denominational schools, Christian schools, all the different schools. But they're private schools.
Okay.
And my experience in elementary school was hard. But it instilled in me structure and foundation.
Okay, because I'm guessing you were probably almost like one of the handful of black kids, if there were black kids at most of those schools.
In my grade, I was always the only black kid.
Crazy.
Well,
okay.
The school was small.
Okay.
So then, if the school is small, you can only imagine the black population.
Yeah, for sure.
Smaller,
for sure.
Which I was the only one. Yeah.
Already.
I got a question. So, being like at your intellectual level, like so young, right? I know in our community, like being smart sometimes can be kind of like
looked down upon,
made fun of, right?
Yeah.
So like you have to deal with living on the north side, being a smart black kid that's probably gonna get made fun of by all the black kids around you, and then you go to the private school and now you're the only black kid. So like, how does one like navigate that? Like, because like for me, like when I was younger, like I was the black kid that liked to wear skater shoes. And then, like, I got pointed and laughed at, but, like, I was athletic to make up for it. You know what I mean? So, like, no, I'm serious, right? But, like, how does one, like, navigate that? Because, like, I feel like that would be a lot of pressure on a young man, like, being that smart, but, like, maybe a potential outcast because of, like, my gift. If that was a thing.
That's a really thought-provoking question. I mean, I would say it's hard, but it's a story that's shared amongst our people, you know? And even though there might be intra-community criticism on varying types of black people, I don't always think it's at fault because the way our community, particularly in the United States, has been oppressed, we're made to think that blackness is bad, period. So that doesn't even allow for the breadth and depth of the conversation, right? And also, black people are not a monolith. And I mean, even myself, we've all developed as black people and had these thoughts about blackness, but we have to accept that one black person might like to wear skater shoes and might be artsy, right? Facts. Or one person might be emo. One person might be more athletic inclined, which oftentimes gets more of the shine, right? But at the end of the day, I think we as a community have to realize that black people are a monolith, and I think that's one thing that always gets said, but it just needs to be communicated more. And I mean, yes, I was called Oreo. I also called Oreo by people who weren't black, so that was also interesting. Called Square, called all those things, and you know, I think when I think about those people, I'm like, what are they doing now? You know? Yep. So I could compare myself to them and sit and be sad, but life keeps going on. So I think we can't beat up on ourselves and be caught up in, I'm not living up to what this image of blackness is. I'm not fitting in this box that they want me in. Yeah, facts. It is because black people are everywhere. Facts. We're on every continent. Black people are in Brazil. Black people are in Latin America. Black people speak Spanish. Black people speak Portuguese. Black people speak native tongues on the African continent, you know? So I think we are just not able to conceptualize it because we're so oppressed educationally in this country. And you see it happening now, but I just think we have to remember that black people aren't a monolith.
Sure. Man, let's talk. What was the first time you ever won like an award, like a science fair or a spelling bee or something like that? I know it had to be
I can tell you the first time I didn't win an award.
Okay, Michael Jordan.
It was the first. This is when I realized I wasn't going to play basketball anymore. I never wanted. I was like, why do I not keep winning? I'm practicing all the time. First time I won an award that really stood out to me. I won't say the first time I won because I don't remember the exact first time. Okay. But the first time I won an award was for speech and debate.
Okay. And what age was that, if you remember?
Probably like 2 years old.
It was middle.
Look at bro.
You know, contrary to what you all might think, I actually was shy.
He was super shy as a kid, bro. I remember that. Now you said I forgot about it. You came out your shell so much now. Like I forgot how shy you was as a kid. Those tend to be the ones who be
the most outspoken, but just not understood all the time.
Already, for sure.
But the first time I won an award that really stood out to me and meant something to me and showed me what I can do and where I can go is when I did extemporaneous speech in middle school. No, it was high school.
Okay. So what middle school did you end up going to?
So middle school, I went to Flower Bluff.
Okay.
Flower Bluff middle school.
What was, because y'all were living over there like in the north side area, what attracted you instead of like, obviously y'all were living in like Miller District and then maybe like going to like an IWA or something like that to go into Flower Bluff?
Yeah, so
was it like a program that they had over there, something like that?
Yeah, I appreciate that question. So yeah, before going to Flower Bluff for middle school, I also went to other middle schools as well. We're trying to. Well, I won't say myself. I'll say my mom. She and my mom and my dad both invested a lot into my education and were very particular about where they wanted me to be. And the school that ended up being the school that I decided to stay at was Flower Bluff.
What other schools did you go to before the Bluff?
So before I went to another Catholic school, Bishop Garriga Middle School. I also went to Annapolis Christian Academy, though I did not stay at that school too long. And then I ended up at Flower Bluff.
Oh, really? Yeah. And that was it right there, Flower Bluff.
Was. I was not often times represented in the classrooms, but that's the real world. You know? The real world, the corporate world, especially the political world, the government world. Those are all the spaces I enter into, and I think we can't. It's easy to operate in silos and be amongst our own people, which is very important and I love. But
step outside the box and try. Yeah, for sure.
There's beauty in
sure.
community building.
For
but
sure.
it's hard oftentimes because people don't always understand you, unfortunately. But yes, I ended up at Flower Bluff.
So what programs were you in at Flower Bluff? Let's go like, what kind of like speech? So let's just say like freshman and sophomore year. What are some of like interesting programs that you enter going into like Flower Bluff High School?
So it really worked.
Because most people are just going, okay, I'm finna play basketball. I'm finna play football. Like you had other stuff on your mind, like at that early age. What were you thinking?
I'm remembering things. You're making me remember things that stood out to me. So Flower Bluff, the first program that I did it was in middle school.
Okay.
I didn't start it in middle school. I started it in high school. So I transferred to Flower Bluff in 7th.
Okay.
I think.
No. In 9th grade, you went to OSO for that week.
8th grade or?
You went to OSO for that week. We were 12. You went to OSO.
I'm trying to think. What are the grades for middle school? What are the grades for middle
6th, 7th, and 8th.
So yes, I started.
But some, like I think Flower Bluff, they do like elementary still like in 6th grade. So
Yes,
Flower
I
Bluff
think it's
probably don't do
7th and 8th.
7th and 8th like
7th
also,
and 8th.
yeah.
So 8th grade is when I went to Flower Bluff.
Okay.
And I say that because that's when they very serious about college readiness. School very serious about college readiness.
Already.
And I don't know, I just always felt like college was a thing I was gonna do. I never.
We knew that.
And the reason why is because I spent so much time with my mom growing up, and one of my most formative memories is going to Texas A&M University Corpus Christi and seeing my mom give her presentations in class. So it just felt like this is what I'm going to do. I never thought any other way. So when I went to Flower Bluff, they had these people come to speak to us about this prestigious program.
And this is you're still in middle school at this point. Okay, already.
And I was like, I don't know if I want to do it. And I remember some of my classmates, they said, oh, I'm going to save my college for college. I'm going to do high school and high school.
Okay.
And that mindset kind of went through my mom the program. She's, you're doing that. And I was like, oh, okay. So I applied.
Got accepted?
I remember writing, got accepted.
Already.
Obviously, right? And then after that, I then started getting all the email correspondence, and then it really changed my life. It really changed the trajectory of my life.
And you're still not even in high school yet? Or is this like summer going towards high school?
No, I was not.
Okay.
So it really changed the trajectory of my life, and I honestly did not realize it in the moment because I was so young.
Yeah.
But they started us. College started literally freshman year.
That's crazy. This man
school.
enrolled in a summer semester before he enrolled in a freshman. I'm so jealous of you.
It started. I didn't start at Texas A&M University Corpus Christi because they wanted to ease us into it.
Okay.
But the program it no longer it exists, but smaller. It's the University Preparatory High School program.
And they was having that entering freshman year?
Freshman year, you had to start your middle. You had to apply your middle school year and then start.
Yeah, they ain't having stuff like that at CCISD and also to like senior year. So, yeah, we see why.
And it was serious. It was
really?
serious. So I started at Del Mar College.
And can you get kicked out of that program if like your grades aren't up to par and stuff like that?
Yes, you can.
Okay, already.
I don't remember because I didn't, but you can. I was like, did it? But I was like, there were a lot of people who dropped. Actually,
okay, already.
TC won't let you get kicked out of that program.
Didn't have that option. Unfortunately, no, I'm joking.
Okay, let's talk about getting the associate's degree before you grad. Because I remember it was like a real big thing. They did like the news story, the news article, and all that stuff. So, when did you actually get the associate's degree? Was that during senior year?
The associate's degree December 13th of 2018, and I graduated in May of 2019, the following year. Yep.
Man,
and it was a lot of work.
Okay,
I didn't realize in the moment, and I'm like, I'm kind of tired.
So, what was your high schooler experience like? Yeah, we get the smart guy stuff, but like, what was like that social experience like? Because doing college and high school work, that don't leave a lot of time for a social life, I wouldn't imagine.
So, to me, social environments to me for fun looked like doing extracurricular organizations.
Yeah.
And then now I look back and I'm like, I mean, I guess I did it in college and I joined a fraternity. So I'm still socializing that way through an extracurricular. But that was my kind of social my way of being social.
Everything has to have like a purpose behind it.
I didn't fit in with people there, and I knew.
He saw what I did growing up and said, "I'm gonna do the opposite."
It wasn't like that. But no, I just felt like I didn't fit in with people. I knew I was different, and I knew how they treated people who were queer at my school. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna wait till I go to college, so I'm in a different space where I can be I was very strategic at a young age, and I'm like, why were you like that? But I guess it worked out. But I was just like, I'm not going to position myself with anything that's going to set me apart in that way. Also, I was black at the school too. And that also added difficulties too. But, you know, I think those experiences are the real world. So I was prepared through taking college. We had to take the bus. We had to be there on a specific time, take the bus to the university, get back.
So y'all was going to classes at AMCC?
We were.
I thought y'all were just taking college courses at Flower Bluff, so they're busing y'all.
Both. We were doing everything. I was at Del Mar. I was at TAMUCC. I was in the library at Del Mar. Library at TAMUCC.
Man, that's crazy. That's live though, man.
Crazy.
I apologize.
No, you get it.
Jeremiah mentioned that he was in the royal court. He was the favorite. He was a voted.
That wasn't the question yet.
I know, but it's not like you.
Mama said he was in the royal courts. He was voted favorites. What else did you do, Mama? At 14, he studied
let's talk
abroad
about
in
that. How
Italy.
did that come about?
You went to Italy, you just ain't gonna talk about it?
Yeah, man, you can't just let us skip over that.
Yeah. My bad.
You're not doing the right
Oops, I
research.
forgot. At 14, I went to Italy.
Yeah, just go for it.
No, I mean, you know.
Because you know your story more than, man, you got so many accomplishments. You know your story. Probably, he didn't mention about 20 of them. You probably still got about 30 more. So you going to have to kind of like guide us through it. So.
You don't hit on when I actually went to college.
Already. Yeah, we're going to get to going to UT and all that. I got questions for all that. But let's talk about the Italy trip before we get there.
So,
how does that even come about?
Ironically enough, that was also a Catholic program too. Okay. It was called Roman
How did you
Catholic
not
Church.
convert?
I don't know if this is the political discussion, so I won't say that. But so that was Rome in the Catholic Church. Also, again, I was one of the very few black people in the program.
Okay.
Well, there's only 2 of us actually. Out of
Jerome!
like 30.
No, I'm just playing.
Yeah. But that was also an eye-opening experience. I felt like I was just doing things, and then when I got there, I realized I missed my mom and dad. I don't know if you remember when I called you that one time. I was scared to call in front of people. Also, I was like, that's when I realized I was like, oh,
this school stuff is real.
It's a little hard.
But did you realize like this school? Like I'm all the way in with this school stuff. Like I'm in Italy that has something to do with education and knowledge and stuff like that. It didn't hit you then?
Or was it just like another summer trip of studying?
It was
summer trip.
Just another.
It was a summer trip.
Yeah.
I think when you're in the experience, you're just doing it. But then I was like, I'm really far away from home.
Okay, how long was y'all over there for?
I think it was 4 weeks. I think it was a full summer. Not a full summer, but like a full month. Like
okay.
June, I think. And then and then an extra week in July.
And y'all were living like on a campus in Italy and stuff?
They have a college campus out there, like a satellite campus.
That's live, man.
It was the University of Dallas.
Oh, man.
So I went there, and then I realized a different type of racism.
Explain.
I think it's important to say.
Okay.
I think there's a term for it, but the way I categorize like academic racism, especially when you go to a predominantly white school.
Okay.
That's a university or college.
I think I've seen something like that we see stuff like that on movies sometimes, you know what I'm saying? Stuff like that.
Oh, you can't do it. You can't. But when you experience it, you're like, oh. And I remember when I went there, I had never experienced something. I mean, I've experienced racism in Corpus Christi. But when it's someone I'm thinking, okay, like I'm just like every other student. I'm just as smart. Like, yes, I might be falling asleep in class because of the time zone. I've never been out of the country before.
Yeah.
It was hard. And when the coursework was very challenging, it's hard. Like it was, they had us writing about Shakespeare.
And how old were you? 14?
I was 14. I was 14.
So you're still in middle school? How did y'all even allow
Man, I'm over here watching Avatar: The Last Airbender at 14. He's over here just Man, that's incredible.
For sure.
That is incredible, bro.
It was hard. And I say out and I want to finish by saying this part about that story. So I thought I was standing out. I thought I was doing everything that I had been taught to do, which I was.
Okay.
And I was a standout student. I did the acting roles of Shakespeare. It was, and I'm going to just say it, Shakespeare's boring. It's hard to read.
Okay.
Nobody writes like that. And he made up words. But why when black people speak a specific way and we make up words, it's bad.
Yeah.
You know? Or we speak backwards, or we speak country or whatever.
So that y'all like trying to read out words that y'all couldn't even comprehend and understand?
Formal English
okay.
that we use now. It's not, it was like half words that were thrown together and we're supposed to know what the meaning behind. I can read it now.
So what was the whole purpose of was it math, like science, like because you're saying
English and writing.
But they got y'all doing a little bit of acting?
So that's the fun part of writing. You know, you're telling a story.
Okay,
you're acting,
okay.
It's when you're reading a story, the characters come alive. So, people in education, they just in the liberal arts, they make everything fancy and stuff.
Not
like
really.
That. But it's like, I mean, when you see these roles, like in these movies that we love, it started by somebody writing.
Yeah, for sure.
And it turns into a story, and the characters embody them, and we love the way they portray them.
Already.
But I want to finish by saying, when I got home, I was drained and tired. I slept in the hotel room for a long time that we were at. And I remember I was applying to a program that I really was. And how I had been before, it's like, you just asked the person that was in the previous program to write you a letter of recommendation. So I asked, and he sent it to me via mail. And I opened it, and I read it, and I was like, what? It's like a ball in my stomach dropped. And I was like, this is weird. What's going on? And when I read it, it said, Jeremiah, it just started going downward. It like changed the way I like understood words. I was like, why is it changing like this? And the professor started with like, Jeremiah was a standout student. And then they started talking about my height. Like,
what?
He was really tall so he could stand in the front and lead the group. Mm-hmm. But he really struggled like understanding writing, and we know his parents really used their just last cent to send him here. They used a scholarship, and that scholarship was only $500. It was not a large scholarship. And it really changed the way I saw myself in school, and it lit a fire in me. It hurt me.
Who had wrote that?
The professor.
So it was more like
the program.
So it was more like he wrote you you should accept him because he'll be the only black kid there, opposed to, hey, bro, this dude is sharp as a whip and he earned the spot.
Or a black kid.
Yeah.
A little bit of both, funny enough.
Huh.
The group that Jeremiah traveled with, he was in a total different
class of people.
class.
Yeah. Already.
The children there travel like this since they were two. Their parents.
Families are connected to the port in Houston.
Already.
Professors at Notre Dame Law School.
Major wealth.
Already.
So Jeremiah didn't behave that way, and they would say things that were just weird to him. And so when the professor, he was used to those kids.
Okay.
And so Jeremiah, for a black kid, he did this and this and that. So everything, he thought that he was special because he was black and unusual. And that offended Jeremiah to no end. And I remember that moment. He was so offended. So offended. But praise God, he always had a brother to lean on and stuff. And you say things, but you were covered. You've always been covered and allowed to soar. And anyway, that's it.
No, thank you for your for chiming in on that for sure.
That was his thing. That was devastating to him.
Already. So what kind of happens like after that? I know we'll kind of we'll speed up a little. So what kind of happens like after that when you say it kind of open your eyes and stuff like that? Was that whenever you decided, no, I need to start going to Florida, but I didn't go to Florida?
So I was already at Florida at that point.
Okay, but you were just was like a summer. That was like a summer program or something.
It was a summer program.
Okay,
yes.
already.
It was a summer program. But yeah, it just changed the way I perceived myself amongst other people. It changed, and it didn't happen immediately. It happened over time, but it just changed the way I saw the world.
Already,
literally, because I was in a different country.
For sure, for sure.
I did.
Okay, we'll get into some of the White House stuff, but cause like I say, I'm gonna bring you back and I'm gonna do some research and we're gonna sit here probably do like a whole 2-3 hour interview whenever I bring you back. Let's talk about leaving high school, going to college, what makes you want to go to UT out of all the schools in the world? I'm pretty sure you probably could have went to any university probably in the world.
Back to Italy.
I did not like UT. That was not the school I wanted to go to.
Where did you want to go?
The school I wanted to go to was Howard. In DC. It was my dream school. I remember when
HBCU?
Yes.
Okay, already.
The Mecca, BHBC.
Already.
And actually I didn't know the significance of what that actually meant. Especially being from a place that's not entirely like Washington, D.C. But I knew I wanted to go there because everyone went there. I was like, that's where I want to go. I tried everything to go to Howard, but it just was not what God wanted me to do. But the reason why I wanted to go was because former Vice President Kamala Harris had launched her presidential campaign for the people. I believe the year before. And I was like, oh, she went there. That's where I'm going. Everything had to be a math equation to me. I was like, okay, this person did this. I want to go to that school. They're doing this. Everything had to fit into a box. Okay.
So when do you start applying to like Howard? Is that like junior year or stuff like that?
It was
like summer going into senior year?
Summer going into senior year. Okay. Senior year.
Okay.
And I applied. I got accepted. And the reason I applied to UT is there were some people at my school. Everyone in Corpus Christi at my school wanted to go to Flower. Actually, everybody in my school wanted to go to Texas A&M.
I was going to say, bro, it's either Texas A&M, UT.
Everyone wanted to go. And I was like, okay, I know how you all act, and I know what that school is. I'm like, I'm not going there. So I was like, if y'all want to go to that school, that's not where I want to go. That was I was like, again, the math equation didn't work out in my head.
Good math.
Like, that's not where I'm
going. Put math on that
and it proved to be true before I even knew what that actually meant. So I was like, that's not where I'm going to go. But I remember the reason I decided to go to UT, outside of like the small conference, I can talk about that a lot. But the reason I actually decided to go is I remember opening the website and I was like, okay, let me look at this website. And I saw a black girl on the screen. It was the first picture.
I was like, so as soon as you opened the website,
it was a black. I was like, okay.
Already.
So I could fit in this school.
Okay.
My cousin had also went to the University of Texas. I remember going to her graduation. But I saw that picture and I was like, okay, this is a place where I could be. Yeah. And I applied, and I remember people at my school was like, you didn't even really want to go, and they were a little jealous because they didn't get into UT. And I was like, oh, it's hard? I just thought you just get. I was like, and I'm not even being. I just really thought you just get because.
You thought it was normal that you just get.
You didn't even really want to go to UT. I mean, I did it.
I thought everybody got their pick of the colleges they wanted to go to.
I did. So I got accepted, and that's when like the floodgates just opened at UT, and I saw a different world that I didn't think was mine in Texas. Okay. Because my Texas was just either white or Hispanic, and those are the people that got
or Flower Bluff
highlighted in Texas. So I was like, this is something that I could do, and they started sending me emails, scholarships, presidential scholarship, liberal arts honors, all these programs they wanted me to do, and I was like, okay.
And you ain't even enrolled at the school or accepted yet.
I didn't accept. I didn't enroll.
But they're already sending you all these programs?
Sending me everything. Calling me. I would call. They'd say, you need to come here. You can do administrative. And I remember I won the Barbara Jordan historical essay contest. And my mom and we took a picture in front of the statue. And that was the only time I saw the campus. I never did a full tour. Nothing. I remember when I got on campus, I was like trying to navigate. It was the 40 acres. It's actually 437 now. But it initially started as 40 acres. And I was like, well, that was someone in my family's 40 acres. So we're taking that back. And I actually was up for some scholarships, and I didn't get some scholarships, but I got a full ride to University of Texas. I traveled multiple places to, I think, 1, 2, 3, 4 different countries. Okay. I also traveled a lot domestically. I traveled to Minneapolis, Minnesota for an internship. I traveled to Houston, Texas for a fraternity conference. I traveled to Washington, D.C. for an internship. I traveled to New York City for an internship. I did not hit California, though. Okay. They did have a program, but I didn't have time to put it in my schedule. I was going to put it, and I was going to get UT to pay for it, too. But, yes, when I go back to that moment, and that was actually a good question you asked, because... yes, it was really that moment when I saw that young black girl who just seemed so full of purpose, so full of pride. And I was like, okay, that can be me. And I remember when I got my Gone to Texas sign.
Yeah.
And I was so happy. I put on my cowboy boots. I felt as though Texas was mine.
Yeah.
And for the first time, I was seen in the state in a way that I didn't really feel seen before.
Already. For sure. So before we're going to talk about the event, I know we got to get up out of here soon. Let's talk about the internship that you just had at the White House recently. Are you still there?
Yes, so I did not work at the White House specifically.
Okay.
But I visited the White House multiple times, and I have lots of colleagues who work at the White House.
Okay.
But what I did do is I interned twice in Washington, D.C. I then worked full-time in Washington, D.C., and I now still work full-time in Washington, D.C., but I'm remote now, so I get the privilege of being home with my family and seeing my niece grow up. So I'm excited about that. And still get to make money in Washington, D.C. and travel. I just got back from New York and Atlanta, so I'm still traveling. But talk about the internships, though. So first internship, again, learned a lot about myself. I did a program through the University of Texas, and when I did that program, I interned for the U.S. House Committee on Oversight and Reform, press intern. And again, math equation, everything wasn't working out. I didn't see the purpose behind the story.
Okay.
And I feel as though we oftentimes get caught in that, where you feel as though you have to be doing something. But then when you look back, it's like, I really should have just savored that moment just a tiny bit more, because that was really a healing period. Like when you have like that season of your life where you're rehabilitated, like bears, they hibernate, they rest. We're animals. We have to take time to heal.
Okay.
And also in that story, I never even told you that my dad passed away. I mean, but the audience know my dad passed away in my freshman year of college. So that was a lot going on in my life. But the internship I did was with the U.S. House Committee on Oversight and Reform. Did that internship, excelled, and then I came back, finished my coursework at the University of Texas, then went back to Washington, D.C., and that's when I got invited to former Vice President Kamala Harris's residence to see her.
Her house? Like, you say, you just skipped by that like the residence was just like, this is
where she lives, where her husband does, yes. Where she lived, yeah. That's where I was.
Man,
how he said? Yeah, that's where I was.
We were. See, that's why I'm like, I don't want to get my black car revoked. I don't know if I'm saying a lot, but we were doing a line dance. I don't remember the name. Before I let go,
y'all was out there doing the Copperhead Road.
We were stop playing. Everyone's like, look at us doing Before I Let Go at the Vice President's house. That's what we were doing. It was fun. So I got recognized by the NAACP, the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People. And they extended an invitation for me because of all the work I had done on behalf of LGBTQ affairs. So I was formally extended an invitation, and the vice president welcomed me to her home. It was all lit up. I have a lot of commemorative pieces from there. I networked with amazing people. I met some Disney Channel stars. So it was very amazing and very impactful. But then after that is when I interned with this prestigious organization that, again, changed another trajectory of my life, or changed structure of my life, and led me in a completely different path than what I even thought I was going to do. Because I was wrestling, I had graduated, and I was like, I got to do something, I was stressing out.
What did you major in?
So I triple majored.
Okay.
I did government, rhetoric and writing, in African diaspora studies, and I minored in educational psychology, and I also got a certificate in LGBTQ plus studies.
Okay.
Yep.
Man.
3 majors?
Man, let's spend like 2-3 minutes talk about this book, and then we're gonna get into the event. Let's talk about the book. What made you want to write a book? How long had the idea been like simmering before you actually like put it to work?
Well, I don't know if you heard what the best that I was hurting is the reason why I wanted to write a book, and I had so many ways that I wanted to let things out.
Okay.
But I didn't know how to do it.
Okay.
You know? And when you lose someone who was a crux in your life, it's like you're standing on this rug and the rug is just pulled off. You're gonna fall.
Yeah.
You're gonna fall because you don't have stability and someone just jetted something out of your life. So with that happening after the passing of my dad, I felt as though no one understood me. And also, I identify as gay. There was just so many things that I had held inside that I had never really communicated outside.
That you wanted to express.
And I didn't know how to express, because also that was COVID. So I was home. And remember I said I wanted to go, so I wasn't there. And then also my dad passed away, so my home wasn't the same. We were remodeling our home, so a lot of things were different. And I didn't have the space that I needed in that moment to heal. So I just wrote.
Did you just start it? Well, you weren't even planning on writing a book. You were just jotting down stuff?
I like to type, so it was more typing. But I was jotting notes too. I like to take notes too. My dad always took notes when he was writing down his clients. But yeah, I wrote a book.
Already.
And sometimes I'm like, I don't really know. There's a really amazing author that I love. Her name, the late Toni Morrison. And she always said she wrote a really popular book, The Bluest Eye. And one thing that stuck out to me that she said is that she didn't like the book.
Okay.
And that holds true for me. It's like, I don't know if I even like my own book, because I feel as though it's not as good as it should be. It doesn't represent me in the best way, but it does. With the title, Something Out of Nothing. Yeah. There was a song that kept playing, and and when I was going through grief after my dad passed away, and it's like, wow, God really made something out of nothing. For sure. That's all of us. For sure. We're all miracles in one shape or form, we all experience traumas in our life, but how I channeled my trauma is just through writing, and that was just the start.
I know another one coming probably in the next 5 years at least.
maybe. There's so much to write about associated.
I know. That's just the first part.
Can I play you in the live action movie of your life?
Sure.
I got a lace front and everything.
Let's talk about, before we get up out of here, this is the whole reason we here, y'all. So y'all tune in, y'all share right now. We about to get into it, man. He's doing something that was done decades ago in Corpus Christi and kind of like faded away. They still kind of have something like this but it ain't what he's doing. I remember being a kid and my grandma and my grandpa and them taking me to like Black awareness festivals and stuff like that. So the inaugural Mr. and Mrs. Corpus Christi Juneteenth World Competition. Man, let's talk about that.
Yeah, but I mean, it's all in the name.
Okay, we even gave you the idea. I've been seeing you posting like the pictures of all that, and like I said, I remember my grandma and them taking me to the Black awareness and all that stuff, Juneteenth, all that whole weekend and stuff.
Oh, how do I even answer that question? It's so much and so long.
Give us the short version.
The short version. I mean, it all goes back to home.
Okay.
I think that's the best answer for the space that we're in. Is it goes back to home. And it's one of those things you never really realize what you have till you don't.
Yeah.
And my mom was so passionate about Juneteenth. And this was before as you mentioned, there were some over a century ago, festivals and parades. Yeah. But for kind of a while, there wasn't really big things happening citywide. And I remember my mom always made it important to go to Juneteenth. She was one of the founding members.
For sure. You can always see Aunt Bridget at Juneteenth. You can count on that.
She had me everywhere with her. We were on the morning news channel. Yeah. I was tired. I was like, I'm on the morning news channel. We had the shirts. I was like, what is this? Was before it was a federal holiday. I was like, what is it? And now I see everybody want to be Juneteenth. And I'm like, I celebrated Juneteenth in New York when I was in New York one time. I celebrated Juneteenth when I was in, I think I was in South Africa for Juneteenth one time. I'm like, I have to celebrate Juneteenth in Corpus Christi again. I'm here. I have to celebrate Juneteenth. And unfortunately, I don't always know how to take breaks. So that's part of where my restlessness came. Part of where this idea came from, my restlessness. But it really also stems from just being exposed to different areas where Black people are.
Where Black people excel, where Black people get light shined on them.
Where they are the center of attention, right? Yeah. And also they operate in a way with, there may be a non-Black person there, but I'm not worried about them.
Okay.
And if they are racist, so what? I'm not going to let that dictate how I identify. I'm not going to let that dictate what I do, how I enter into a space. And that's one of the things my internship with the Congressional Black Caucus taught me is I'm going to be unapologetic in whatever space I enter into, because those people in DC can't shy away from being Black. They can't shy away from that. They have to fight on our behalf. Yes, they're not doing everything that can be done, but they're working, right? They're trying. And when you're in that space and people want, why did I not get a stimulus check from Biden? Well, do you even know how that even happened? Do you know that Trump didn't even do that? that wasn't even Trump, that he just signed on it.
Yeah.
But people just don't know those things. So that's why it often gets like misunderstood. But back to the inaugural Mr. and Miss Corpus Christi Juneteenth Royal Competition. I encourage everyone listening on this podcast, if you know of any black young men and young women here in Corpus Christi or the surrounding areas, to please come out to our interest meeting. It'll be held on April 5th, which is this Saturday at 2 p.m. Central Time. April 5th.
I will be dropping the flyer in the comments after we get off live, so the flyer will be in the comments.
2 p.m. Central Time at PKK Southern Cuisine. We had to have it at a place that's
for the culture. We're just gonna say
soul food. There's not a lot of places in Corpus Christi, but we had to have it there. And definitely go out and support them. They're helping us a lot in this event. But yes, come out there and bring the young men and the young women who are in your close circles. We need this. There's so much of this program that I've invested in. I have some HBCU king and queens are going to come and be a part of enrichment sessions. Some very beautiful young women, beautiful young men that are going to come and speak about not only what it's like to get a college degree, but to have fun.
Yeah, okay, fun. Yeah.
There's so many conferences in college that you can go to. Like I got to experience, but at an HBCU it's even better because you're around your own people. I unfortunately not get that experience like my brother. But it's so amazing when you get to connect with your own people. So definitely come out. There's also going to be some colleges that'll be participating in our enrichment sessions.
Okay.
If your child gets selected after the application process. And
they're asking what's the age group for Mr. and Mrs. Corpus Christi.
Yes, thank you for that question. It's high school juniors and seniors.
Okay.
And next year, when we plan, we may have the capacity to have some more involvement amongst different ages. But we really want to get it started and grounded. So we're doing it with people who are going straight into college right now.
And the address, the interest meeting is, like you said, Saturday, April 5th at PKK Southern Cuisine, and that is located at 213 South Chaparral Street, downtown Corpus Christi, Texas, man. For sure. So after you do, like, what is this? This is going to lead, I'm guessing you're going to have like an event. Is that going to be Juneteenth weekend?
Yes.
Okay.
So this is our kind of kickoff event.
Yeah.
And then the next big thing we have.
Yeah, we're gonna have to have you back on to talk about that. But just let them know.
We can make it a weekly thing. I don't know how you want to do it.
We'll figure something out already.
We have, as we all know, as native Corpus Christians, there's the annual Buck Days Parade. The Buck Days Parade, this is kind of my mom's baby that she wanted to do. She wanted to do a boots on the ground here in Corpus Christi.
Okay.
And not just the song, as you see with the Clack fans, but we really wanted to show that our boots are on the ground here in this city and it's not going anywhere.
Really?
As you see from the 1930s and 1920s pictures I posted. Also follow the Facebook and the Instagram. The Instagram account is Mr. and Miss CC Juneteenth, and the Facebook page is Mr. and Miss Corpus Christi Juneteenth Royal Competition. So please follow that. You'll get all the updates, everything. But the next event, like I said, is the Buck Days Parade, Boots on the Ground.
Okay.
And we're going to have the Hogs escort us as our sergeants.
The motorcycle club.
Yeah, the motorcycle club. So it's going to be fun.
Already.
Then we're going to have a float. And in the float, we're going to have our all applicants. So even if your child doesn't get selected as a selected finalist, they will still get the opportunity to get presented to the city. Because it is very important that we showcase the best and the brightest of our city in all ways that they come.
Sure.
So that's going to happen on April 26th at 8 p.m. in downtown Corpus Christi. But the most important part I want to mention is the Southern Soul line dancers we want to feature. So we're opening this up to 20 people here in Corpus Christi, 20 people here in Black Corpus Christi to participate, and the entrance fee is just $50, but it's not $50 coming with nothing. It's $50 coming with a custom designed shirt.
Already.
In nice colors. I have an amazing graphic designer putting something together.
Already.
And then also we're going to have custom Juneteenth fans, Clack fans. So when you do the boots on the ground line dance, it's going to be amazing. I'll send you the link for people
and send me the flyer and all that stuff too. Yeah,
I'll text you that so you can share it with people.
Yeah.
It'll be hard for me to communicate it over the the microphone. But yes, we have the Boots on the Ground Southern Soul line dances coming in the Buck Days Parade. So we all really want you to go to that. So it's April 26th, downtown Corpus Christi at 8 p.m. And the last thing I want to also mention is we're going to be having a Night of Blackness.
Okay.
And this is the crowning ceremony.
Okay.
We will be having an internal competition, which will be amongst the contestants and 2 people that they are open to inviting. And then that will be not open to the public just because we want to really ease them into this space, but also give them a lot of meaningful experiences. And the Night of Blackness is going to be very regal. It's a black tie event.
Already.
We are solidifying the location, but it's going to be a nice one here in city downtown area.
Really?
But yes, it's crowning ceremony, a Night of Blackness. So we are very excited.
Man, for sure. For the culture, man. Y'all see it, man. Y'all here. We're going to be sharing all that info, man. So y'all stay tuned. All that good stuff. And the email, it was an email address. Let me pull it up one more time. What was it?
Yes, it's Juneteenth.
For anybody that has any questions, y'all can reach out to them via Facebook or Instagram or via email. Give them the email one more time.
Yep, it's Juneteenth. So June, June, Teenth, Teenth, royalty, royalty, cc@gmail.com.
For sure. Hey, man. It's a Ridin High podcast. Appreciate my co-host, Lucky Lamar.
Yes,
hey,
sir.
man.
And then before we get out, I just want to add, man, like, I just think it's cool because, like, being from Alabama, like, I'm going to be honest with y'all. Like, this
No, keep it 100. Keep it 100.
I didn't, and this might sound crazy, but, like, it, probably not, but, like, I didn't know what Juneteenth was when I first got here. Because, like, even my mom went to one of the first integrated elementary schools. Like, my mom was born in 1960. She went to one of the first integrated schools in the country, right? So then, like, they're like, hey, bro, and then you move here, like, hey, we're going to celebrate Juneteenth. What the hell is that? Like, they're like, what? Like, no, like, really? And, like, the only reason why I found out about it was because my brother had a friend from Houston, and she was, like, heavy on making sure that she taught us about, like, Juneteenth and stuff, because like a lot of people outside the country don't, like, outside of Texas, don't know about it. But, like, they were like, yeah, bro, it's all across the country. I look up like, bro, you're lying. Like, has it grown exponentially? Absolutely, which it should. But, like, it's just kind of cool that, like, even in 2006, half the country didn't even know about it, to where now it's a federal holiday. But, like, getting to experience, like, I tell King all the time, like, bro, y'all had so much cool stuff. And then before I got here, like, he tells me about the night basketball league.
Y'all talking about the Northside Night League? Remember the Northside Night League?
He told me about, like, you and, like, the parades and stuff. I'm like, bro, y'all did so much cool stuff before I got here. And, like, to see something come back, that's kind of cool, man. Like, so I appreciate it, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm a big fan of history, and I believe if you do not know it, you're doomed to repeat it.
For sure.
But that's all true. I got. You got anything you want to add, TT?
Thank you.
This is such a form of excellence, and it behoove anybody to come in the broad audience that he's reaching. And DJ told us that there has the #1 podcast in the city. I'm like, oh, why don't I know about it? Come on. I'm like, okay.
Already.
Thank you. This is amazing, and thank you for supporting your cousin. We love you so much.
For sure, love y'all too. For sure, appreciate you.
We're going to find some space in there. There's plenty of things to do. We are accepting volunteers and people who just want to know.
Already.
Yes. And so in that thing Jeremiah didn't mention, but we are going to be giving scholarships in the name of your Uncle Donald.
Already.
It's still true to my heart, and this is who he is.
For sure.
And everybody, I want to interject this real quick.
Can you point that microphone to her real quick?
Everybody always assumed, because I had a college degree, that I was the teacher or instructor of our children. And both of them are amazing. And their memories, just like their dads, they're academically inclined. But it was my husband that, when Jeremiah talks about, he wanted to, he found, when he discovered that he wanted to be in education, and I don't know if you know this, Jeremiah didn't start speaking until he was 4.
I remember.
And so I just didn't have anything to say. But my husband was the orchestrator of everything. And even our businesses that we own. My husband was the founder of all this. All I wanted to do was stay home and have babies. That's all I wanted to do. We wanted 12. Praise God, that didn't happen. But I was with my husband for 39 years, the best thing of my life. And I have no regrets, not one. And I praise God that he left me with such a legacy and that he instilled so much in our sons. And there was nothing more for my husband to teach them. He gave them everything, and he is pleased as well as I am with the trajectory of both of their lives. And so I just want to encourage people to bring their children. I don't care if you have a C student. Don't forget President Bush was a C student. So you don't know what's in your child's future. So just believe in them, encourage them, and this may be something that will change the trajectory of their life.
Yeah.
So I just want to encourage them and encourage you all to keep doing your work. It's such a beautiful thing. And sure. I will sponsor and support your vision. I will absolutely do that.
For sure. Thank y'all. Thank y'all. Thank y'all for showing up, babe.
Yeah, you remind me a lot of my cousin Victor, man. Like when we were all outside, like every Memorial Day, we'd all go to my Uncle Buster's house, and like it's a big family event. Everybody be outside playing football. He'd be inside playing chess. Like a few times I go in there with him. Like he tried to teach me how to play or whatever. But like we still talk about it to this day. But like he just got done writing a book on Black Wall Street, and and now he's...
So when I want to bring you, when I bring you back, we want to talk about all. We're gonna run through all that because I know you know all that type of stuff too. So we're gonna run through all that, man. Next time you come, we'll sit down for like 2-3 hours and just run through it all, man. For sure. Well, hey, man, it's your boy DJ Lil King, Lucky Lamar, Ridin High Podcast. Appreciate the guest for tonight, my cousin, man. Super smart, extraordinary, man. Jeremiah Baldwin. Appreciate you coming through, babe. For sure,
Baldwin,
babe.
Baldwin,
hey, it's the Ridin High Podcast.
Yes,
we
sir.
out this thing, man. Hey.
Appreciate you, and hopefully I was on my best behavior and we get him back. Yeah, he